Hello friends. Welcome back to Wonderfully Made Bible Stories for Children. I'm so glad you're here. In our last episode, we heard about Samson, a man with great strength who forgot that his power came from God. Today, we begin a very different kind of story. It's about a woman named Ruth, who didn't have great strength or power, but showed something even more important, faithfulness and trust in God, even when her life became very difficult. Let's hear how her story begins. There was a woman named Naomi who lived in Israel with her husband and 2 sons. But when a terrible famine came and there was no food, they moved to a faraway country called Moab. While they were there, Naomi's husband died. Her 2 sons grew up and married Moabite women. One of those women was named Ruth. But after a few years, Naomi's 2 sons died too. Naomi and Ruth were both very sad. Naomi decided to return to Israel, and she told her daughters-in-law to stay in Moab with their own families, where life would be easier. One of the daughters-in-law went back. But Ruth chose something very different. Ruth told Naomi that she would not leave her. She said she would go wherever Naomi went, stay with her, and worship Naomi's God. That meant Ruth was choosing to leave her own country, her own family, and even the gods she had grown up with. She was choosing the one true God, and the harder path. So, Ruth and Naomi traveled all the way to Bethlehem in Israel. They didn't have husbands, land, or money, and they didn't know how they would live. Still, Ruth trusted God and stayed faithful. It was harvest time, so Ruth went to the fields to pick up leftover grain so that she and Naomi could eat. The field she worked in belonged to a kind man named Boaz. When Boaz heard how Ruth had chosen to stay with Naomi and follow God, he was kind to her and made sure she was safe and able to gather enough food. Ruth could have stayed in her own country where life was easier. But she chose to go with Naomi and follow God, even though she didn't know how things would turn out. Her story reminds us that faithfulness means sticking with and trusting God, even when it's hard or scary. Let's think about a few things together. Have you ever had to choose something that was harder, but you knew it was the right thing? What does it look like to trust God, even when you don't know what will happen next? How can you be kind and faithful just like Ruth was? God sees when we make faithful choices, and He uses them for something beautiful. Thank you for joining me today. Next time, we'll hear what happens when Ruth keeps working in Boaz's field, and how God turns Ruth's faithfulness into a beautiful part of His great story. You won't want to miss it. Until then, remember, you are wonderfully made, and God is with you every step of the way. Bye for now.